We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 27. Others sacrifice all the functions of their senses and the functions of their vital airs, that is a prana, into the fire of yoga in the shape of self-control kindled by wisdom. So I was just giving you an understanding that when you put food in your mouth, what happens? Now, the body by itself is also a sacrificial pit. Did you get it? It's a sacrificial pit. Every sense that is there is also a sacrificial pit. What is the sacrifice that we need to do? If I offer the sacrifice of seeing, I see objects. The sacrifice that I do is I don't want to see bad things. Simple example, in the world, there is a lot of porn on the internet. I have to avoid seeing that porn. Can I see something better? That better thing is a sacrifice. What is this good and bad in this? You know, there are two types of twigs that are available. One is the wet twig and one is the dry twig. So if you take anything which has got a wet twig, the wet twig doesn't burn, but the dry twig burns instantly. Isn't that the truth? So wet twig, dry twig, good branches which can be inflammable, which can definitely catch fire, and there are those which do not catch fire. So like that. So think about it like this. So what is it that I am offering my eyes? Something good which will burn away. That which I offer the eyes, which will burn away quickly as a sacrifice, is very good. That which stays in my mind, think about it. All the bad stuff that is there in the world, does it stay in my mind? See, think about it. Everything that you think is bad about somebody will stay in your mind. All the good stuff gets wiped away. Isn't that the truth? So if you have a friend coming over for lunch or dinner and the friend doesn't pay the money, he never wants to pay the money. So he's a freeloader. You understand? So he will come and he will say, this is the bill, you pay. Hasn't that remained in your mind? So all the bad stuff about this person remains in our mind. Likewise, everything that you offer to the eyes, to the ears, stays with us. It is not burnt. Did you understand this? It doesn't get burnt. So if I hear my aunt bad-mouthing me, through my ears I am listening to her bad-mouth me, maybe I am sneakily listening. Will it stay in my mind or will it get burnt away? It is going to stay in my mind. It doesn't get burnt away. So these are the bad twigs. But if something good happens, it gets burnt away as a sacrifice. Okay. So your aunt who is coming to meet you gets you a small present, maybe a small silver idol. Okay, you take the idol and you say, thank you very much, you brought this idol, so nice. And you put it in your God's place. You know, there is a Devghar, we call it, in that place. And you forget about it. But when she badmouths you, you will remember it all your life. Because the mind retains it. So here Shri Krishna is saying, others sacrifice all the functions of their senses and the functions of the vital airs into the fire of yoga in the shape of self-control. What is the self-control over here? There is no need for you to keep on thinking that this woman is bad or that man is bad. That is the self-control. If you hear something evil, why do you retain it inside your mind? Offer it away. Give it away. Throw it out in this world. So what you do is, it has to be offered by self-control. Did you get what I said? So in the same way, if I drink something, people drink liquor, people eat sweets, people do a lot of things which they are not supposed to, right? So let us say there is a person who eats in excess or drinks in excess, keeps on drinking, I'm talking about liquor. So what happens to this person? The body is not able to break down this faster. It remains in the blood. So when the person stops you on the road while driving, does he see the alcohol level in your blood? Got the answer? The alcohol in your blood defines that you have drunk liquor beyond a certain limit and it is roaming around in your body. Is it harmful for you? 100% it is harmful. Same way, if you eat more food, your body is beyond digestion. People who are not supposed to eat that thing keep on eating it. Suppose people who have diabetes, they keep on eating sugar candies, sugar this, sugar that. What happens to the body? Body doesn't produce insulin. And because it is not producing insulin in that quantity, there is a disturbance in the body. So the sweet keeps on roaming around all over the place. It is very dangerous. Have you seen people, those who have diabetes, their legs, portion of their legs keep on falling off? It's a very dangerous thing. My uncle who had diabetes had to have 4 times his leg cut because he was a very, very heavy diabetic. He was dependent on insulin and many a times he had to be admitted to the hospital because of this problem. This is the problem. So overcoming that is very important. So self-sacrifice is important. Sacrifice the senses to the yoga of self-discipline. This verse, you should take it to heart. Sacrifice it. This sacrifice is very important in our life. All the senses, pranas. You know what are the different kind of pranas? Pranas are various. 5 types of pranas are there. Apana, Vyana, Udana. All those things are there. We are not here to discuss that right now. Inward breath in the outward breath. We are going to do that verse also now. So we will do that verse when it comes to. So let us see what we do in the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 28. Some perform sacrifice with material possessions. Some offer sacrifice in the shape of austerities. Others sacrifice to the practice of yoga. While some striving souls observe austere vows, perform sacrifices in the shape of wisdom through the study of sacred texts. So Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna what every individual can sacrifice. Every individual has their own choice of things to do. Some people can give away their material possessions. It is expected, this is an expectation of the Vedas, that once you reach the age beyond 50, you are supposed to hand over the reins give away the stuff to the younger generation. By 60, you should have given up most of the things. So 40 to 60, the latter half of it would be called Vanaprastha, say starting at around 50 or so. So Vanaprastha means giving up all your material desires, everything that you possess. Why do you need it? What is the point in buying gold? What is the point in making properties? After you cross 50, can you stop doing all these things? It is not important to do. Let the next generation do it. So hand over your properties to your younger generation. That means maybe your children, maybe your grandchildren. I don't know, whoever that is there. Please hand it over. Your job is only to focus on your spiritual path. Your job is not to keep on watching television, going for football matches, playing cricket, this kind of nonsense. But there are lots of people who are in the age group of 60, 70 and 80. They will go to the gym and develop their muscles. I mean, what kind of a brain do they have? You are not following the track. You see, there is one very famous singer. This singer is, I think, around 68 years old today. This famous singer wanted to look like the younger generation, the millennials. A 68-year-old woman wants to look like a younger generation. She put so many tours up. I will do this, I will do that. And she wants to dance on the stage and sing songs and do all kinds of things which a 16 or 18 or 20-year-old does. And finally, she used to take a lot of drugs, a lot of things which she was not supposed to. She has had umpteen number of failed marriages and so on and so forth. Finally, she ended up in a coma in a hospital last week. It was a drug abuse. All the top people in the world, those who are actors or singers, have you seen that they have died because of this? They want to look younger, they want to become younger, they want to compete with the younger generation. There are actors, singers, you name it, all these people. You can't do that. This is abusing. You have to start giving up your life. You are not supposed to be getting involved in material possessions. So here, some perform sacrifice with material possession. They are supposed to give away the material possession. Some offer sacrifice in the in a shape of austerities. A person has to become austere. Why do you have grandness in your place? Why is it important to own some big properties, have fancy things in your house? Lots of these people who are 60, 70 and 80, there are collectors. Have you noticed? I was reading about a collector. He likes lithographs and all those beautiful things. And he pays millions of dollars to buy those paintings, lithographs and so on and so forth. He is having a house which is 65 million pounds worth. 65 million pounds? Why do you need such a big house? He buys lithographs every single day, like as if he is doing something. At this point in time, you are not supposed to be doing all those things. On the contrary, you should be giving up. So living an austere life is very important. Austerity starts from the self. Getting up in the morning, having a very, very disciplined approach in life. Limited food, limited way of living. Becoming very sincere in your work, whatever work that you do. Suppose you are even sweeping the floor, you have to be very sincere about it. There is no need to do a hodgepodge job. No, do it properly. That is there. Other sacrifice to the practice of yoga. I don't want to elaborate on this. People at that age should also do yoga. This yoga which he is talking about is not that yoga which you are thinking of, which everybody thinks that is the body exercise. No. Yoga, Ashtanga yoga, 8-part yoga. Someday I will give you a talk on that, Ashtanga yoga. So, that yoga, you can be lost in that. Then, some striving souls observe austere vows. Some people will say, I will not have Saturday meals or something like that. They can come up with whatever they want to, okay? Maybe I will not cut my hair. People come up with that. So they grow very long beard, long hair. Some people will say, I will not watch movies. Anything. I mean, I'm just giving examples. You can have austerity whichever way you want. You can just give up on some things. You can take a vow. A vow which says that I will give up this sugar. Okay. I will give up this particular thing. Okay. So perform sacrifice in the shape of wisdom to the study of sacred texts. Some people, when they become older, their job is to read spiritual books. You can read spiritual books. Spiritual texts are available. You can join a class also. You can become a disciple, a student. So at the age of 50, 60, a person should have somebody who will teach them these spiritual texts. Those who are above 45, 50 and they have joined the class, I am very happy you all have joined. The reason being, this is the age where you need to study. This is your sacrifice which you are offering. So Shri Krishna is saying these are the kind of sacrifices that a person can do. Sacrificing the knowledge. When they study these yogic texts, the beautiful texts that are there, the spiritual texts. So we move to the next verse. We are doing chapter 4, verse 29 and 30 from the Bhagavad Gita. Other yogis offer the act of exhalation into that of inhalation. Even so, the others the act of inhalation in that of exhalation. There are still others giving into the practice of pranayama, that is the breath control, who having regulated their diet control the process of exhalation and inhalation both. Pour their vital airs into the vital airs themselves. All these have since consumed away by sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. This is the only verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Shri Krishna talks about Hatha Yoga. You know Hatha Yoga? Where people do all kinds of yogic activities, pranayama, meditation, this, that, plus the different kinds of yoga that is taught worldwide. You know, sitting in a particular posture like Padmasana and all that. I'm sure you know that. So, all kinds of yogic activities. First, he starts with what is called as the pranayama. What does he say? Inhalation, exhalation. Correct? Second one, he says exhalation, inhalation. Correct? First part is different. Second part is different. Others practice pranayama, having regulated their diet, control the process of exhalation and inhalation both. So the third part is controlling the diet while doing an inhalation, exhalation. So that this is the third part. Pour their vital airs into the vital airs themselves. All these have their sins consumed away by the sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. Do you know that there are two kinds of burning that happens? First, explosion. Second one, implosion. Have you seen a building getting destroyed? They put those timers and the all those, I don't know, dynamite or whatever sticks that they put, and there is an implosion and then there is an explosion. What you see in the war is basically explosion. So an explosive device. Second one is an imploding device. Everything collapses inwards. Have you noticed it? So in the material world, there are different kinds of destruction that happens. In our body also, similar thing happens. Okay? When we take in air, when I take in air, what happens? Inspiration. I am taking, then expiration. Throwing it outside. Got it? I have given you these two examples for you to understand how this kind of activity happens. The burning. I said the burning. Explosion, implosion. It's a burning. Inspiration, expiration. That is respiration. We have done respiration. Now, all these activities are combined together to burn that which is there inside our body. When I take in air, what am I doing? I am taking oxygen. It is called oxygenation. So when I take air, it goes in my lungs. There is an exchange of gases that happen. This exchange of gas gives oxygen to the blood, takes all the bad gases from the blood, which is carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and various other gases, and it then combines it and throws it out. Isn't that what happens? While I am doing that, two things happen inside the chakras. Do I need to explain chakras? Beginning I had explained a little bit about the chakras, so I don't want to explain again. A chakra is a power center in the body. At the base of our body, where the anus and the genitals are there, just below that there is a space. The first chakra is mounted over there. This chakra is the Mooladhara chakra. So when I do the in breath and then I do the out breath, I am pushing my air through this body. Air goes in the lungs. I have the lungs over here. They go in the lungs. But what goes distributed in the body, goes and distributes itself in the body, is called prana. Prana is not air. Don't mix up air with prana. No. The pranic energy. What happens when I take the breath in? It goes to the bottom of the chakra. Imagine, have you seen in the fair, when we go for fairs, we have a lot of fairs in our town. So when you go to the fair, have you seen children carry that wheel? That wheel which, a paper wheel, they'll do like this in the air and the wheel goes round, isn't it? You have seen that, it's a common thing. So if I move it forward, it will go this way. If I move it backward, it will go reverse. Have you seen that? Think this is what happens. When my breath goes inwards to the lungs, my prana reaches this chakra. Chakra. Chakra means the round wheel. So it goes to the round wheel. It literally drives the wheel. Round and round. Think like that. I want you to visualize how this happens. Now, have you seen a rose which is closed like a bud? And it has a long stem. You hold it in your hand like this. There's a rose over here. And then you do this way. Do you notice what happens? the buds open and the petals open like this. Have you seen the petals will open like this? Even in Chennai, you will find that if you go to the flower market, they'll do like this to that flower. They'll blow breath on it and they will open it and give it to you. Haven't you noticed this? Now think about what happens to the chakra inside. It is like a closed lotus. Lotus is offered to the goddess, isn't it? In most of the temples, lotus is offered to the goddess. So just imagine it's a closed lotus like this. The air comes from top and it is going round, round, round. It's not the air, it's the prana. And suddenly that thing starts blooming. Like that. This is what happens in our body. The power centers open up. If you do this pranayama in a thing, it opens up. And in exhalation, all the air that is there comes out. The air has to be pumped out. No? So this is one activity which happens. Inhalation, exhalation. Now let us see the reverse part of it. Exhalation to inhalation. Second part he said, Krishna, I'm sorry, this may take some time, so please bear with me. Now, when you do the reverse, what happens? The exhalation has to happen and the inhalation also has to happen, because inside there is a vacuum, a kind of a vacuum created. Now you can do pushing the air in and pushing it out, and you can't just stop over there. You have to take the next breath in, isn't it? So after exhalation you have to do the inhalation also. You can't just say, I'm not going to do the inhalation. You can't do that. Your lungs have collapsed, so they need air, so they are going to on their own pull the air from outside. Otherwise you will say, I don't want to do. It doesn't work. Okay, common sense. Same thing happens to these chakras. The chakras, it starts literally rotating. I want you to visualize this. This is not what actually happens, but understand the processes. Processes to understand is very important. And just imagine, if something rotates, does it go up in a spiral? So if I do this, centrifugal and centripetal forces are at play. Now you will say, what is centrifugal? What is centripetal forces? I left it in my school. Don't say that. Centripetal force and centrifugal force. Centrifuge. Centrifuge, where everything rotates, and you will find it is used in, centrifuge is used in many places. While even making ice creams and all, that thing revolves quite fast. So that forces are at play. And when the forces are at play, similarly, you might have seen, when you go into that flywheel in Disneyland or something like that, when you increase the speed, what happens? The thing which is rotating this way starts rotating in this way, spreading itself out fully. That is what happens. And then it can collapse in the other way. If the forces are very fast, go the other side. So think like that. It is moving like this in a what is called as a helix. Helix in a helical form. Am I introducing too much of science in this? Sorry, but you will have to understand. That's why I have to say. A helix is like this. It goes upwards. Like you have that sandstorm or something like that. You must have seen. It goes like this, like this, like this upwards. When you have that storm somewhere, it goes in a form of a whirlwind, like zzz, like that. So think like that. So everything that is taken in, exhaled out, creates this kind of forces inside our body. So Shri Krishna says you can use this as a sacrifice. Inhalation, exhalation is a sacrifice. Exhalation, inhalation is a sacrifice. And if you can control yourself, see, he says, practice of pranayama, having regulated the diet. Don't eat too much. You see, just imagine, if you have eaten too much, what's going to happen to the chakras? The poor chakras are going to be snoring away to glory. So don't do that. So you have to have a regulated diet, okay? First and foremost, don't eat too much while doing this pranayama. That's why we recommend early in the morning. Why? Because you have not eaten anything. Think about it, okay? Pranayama has to be done early in the morning for the purpose so that your body can start reacting to it. But after having eaten something and you do pranayama, most of the time you will fall asleep. Because your activity is directed towards digestion. And digestion doesn't allow, happy hormones are there. They put you to sleep. So after a nice meal, don't you want to take a siesta? I want to go to sleep. That's what happens. That's why. Alright, so I will end it now in one more verse. One more line is there. All these vital layers into the vital layers themselves. What is the vital layer? I just now explained the vital layers to you. Prana. The prana into the prana. That is coming, incoming and outgoing pranas. And all these things consumed away by sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. This will help you understand the sacrifice. Sacrifice, you are offering something to the Devis inside and you are exhaling out. That is also there. It's a kind of a sacrifice. When all this is offered as a sacrifice, you are taking pains to do it. Are you not exerting yourself while doing it? So this is what you do. So when you do the pranayama or the yogasana or any other kind of thing, you are actually helping your body do sacrifice. And when you do sacrifice, this sacrifice will help you grow in your spiritual path. So we will stop over here at verse 29-30.